This is the video for making fresh pasta. We have at our store a nice counter and we make fresh pasta pretty much every day. We do a lot of different cuts, but we have big commercial machines that do it for us. So this video and the recipe that we wrote is going to teach you how to do just fresh pasta at home using only just a flour and a knife. And we're going to get something pretty much like this, nice fettuccine. Alright, let's start with the ingredients. We mix all of the flours and the salt into a mixing bowl. Now we're just going to sift this together by hand. After it gets everything mixed really good, we're going to make a nice well in the middle. And we're doing this video actually in my parents' basement because Dad's the expert at this, and of course they have a separate kitchen in the basement, so we're going to use that. Alright, that's a nice well right there. Just makes it easier to put the wet ingredients in. So both of the eggs go in there. Yep, there they are. Okay, and you just want to mix this together with your fingers. You could use a fork, but that's no fun. So just get in there with your fingers and stir it all together. Yeah, you just want to keep incorporating the flour into the eggs. And we get that mixed. Let's add some water, just half of the water. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Just after a little bit of water and a couple eggs, all of this just comes right together in a nice little ball that you can work with. This video is going to run just a tad longer than the regular ones because I didn't want to skip any steps. So you can actually see the dough coming together as it's being worked. So not too much editing in this one. Alright, that looks good. Add the rest of the water. Yeah, and that's all the wet ingredients. That's more than enough to get everything together. So we're just going to keep mixing this in the bowl until you get almost everything into one nice bowl. Okay, that's almost all together now. And get a little bit off the sides. And once you get everything into the bowl, we're going to take this and put it right onto the countertop. Alright, there it goes. Alright, you want to always put a little bit of flour on the table. It makes things easier to work with. And kneading is the fun part. We're going to do this about 5 minutes. It's going to smooth out the dough and give you a nice, nice soft texture. You should be able to poke it when it's done and it'll bounce back a little bit. Just keep folding it and rolling it. Fold it over, turn it, roll it. You get a nice rhythm going after a little bit. Yeah, don't be afraid to put more flour down if it starts to stick. Okay, this has been about a minute in. You can already start to see the texture starting to change a little bit. It's getting a little bit smoother, looking like a nicer piece of dough. And we're rolling and rolling. Yeah, if you're going to make pasta at home, you really need to knead it by hand. They have those machines that do this, but the motors on them are never strong enough, and the dough doesn't come as smooth as this. I mean, this has only been a little over a minute, and it's already come together nice. Yeah, all in all, this doesn't take that long. I mean, you're talking maybe about 15 minutes of work with a little bit of rest time in between. So actually, the timing is really good if you're making like a fresh marinara sauce or some other simple sauce on the stove. We're gonna need this out for about 5 or 6 minutes. You know, let it rest, finish rolling it, and then you got about a half hour in the meantime while the dough settles down. Perfect time to get chop your onions and start sautéing all that. Get your tomato sauce together. Get the water ready to be boiled. And then when you come back and cut this pasta, pretty much your sauce, your pasta, and your water should all be boiling. Everything should be ready all at the same time. And you can have pretty much a whole dinner made from scratch, like scratch, fresh pasta, fresh sauce, and everything, all in less than an hour. So cooking it takes a little time, but not too much. All right, what's going on with this dough? It's looking good. Yeah, that looks about ready. All right, let's roll it into a nice little ball here. Give it a quick poke. Yeah, that's nice. You can tell the texture is really smooth. The hole is slowly coming back up again. All right, let's move on to the next step. Let's cover this and let it rest for 2 minutes just to get the dough a second to calm down. And very important, you have to wash your hands. I'm not sure why this is very important, but they always say to do it, and I never argue with them. So start with fresh, clean hands. And after about 2 minutes, we're going to pull that dough back out of the bag. A little more flour, and just give it a quick couple minutes just to smooth it out a little bit more. Okay, and after about 2 minutes have gone by, we're going to roll this into a nice ball. Put it back in the bag, and now we're going to let this stay covered for about a half hour. Saran wrap will work too, plastic bag, either way. Just keep it covered, right on the counter. And a half hour later, we're going to take this out, cut it into quarters. We're only going to do one at a time. We're going to roll one, leave the rest of them in the bag, leave them covered so they don't dry out. Okay, once we get the other three put away, we're going to kind of either flatten this with the heel of your hand or just kind of smush it with your fingers and make a small disc to help us start it out. Notice there's a little bit of flour on the table. When you're rolling them out, we're going to do flour almost between every other roll just to make sure that things don't stick and they move smooth. And the more flour you actually roll into the pasta, it makes it a harder and nicer texture than when you finally get to the pasta. Alright, that's nice and flat. Get what we can do with our fingers. And I'm going to start rolling. We're going to go from the center out. And we're going to flip and turn this thing a lot. And we're going to keep rolling this until we get about a foot and a half diameter circle. Yeah, look at how nice that flips. It's nice and solid. It's not, you don't have to worry about it breaking. That's what the flour does for you. The more flour you have on there, the easier it is to work with. The dough is firmer. Yeah, you can stretch this out nice. You don't have to worry about it breaking or anything like that. And there's a little bit of a knack to this, so don't be too upset if you don't get it right away. But you have three to practice with, so by the third or fourth one, you should have this down perfect. Yeah, try and keep it as nice of a circle as you can. So you're always going to be moving it and turning it, so that way you don't get a weird shape. A little flour. It's looking pretty good. That's almost big enough. Ooh, yeah, that's nice and thin. But still very durable. It doesn't look like it's going to break at all. I'm not even worried about it a little bit. Alright, that's about good. Let's take a look at this thing, see what it looks like. Yeah, the thickness looks really nice there. Texture's perfect. Yeah, and that's pretty good, pretty thin. Let's smooth it out just a little bit here. Yeah, a couple more rolls and then we're going to be ready to fold. It just feels nice when it comes out right. Right. Get a little flour on there so it doesn't stick together at all when you go to fold it. Okay, good. All right, when you fold this, you want to fold from the edges to the center. Excuse me, and do it a couple times. So from the edge into the center, and then he's going to do it again. And there you go. When you cut this, you're going to get nice long strands of pasta. And like I said before, the thickness that you cut, we're cutting for like fettuccine tagliatelle size right now. If you cut them a little wider, you have a pappardelle. If you cut them a little skinnier, you're going to get a spaghetti linguine cut. Or, you know, if you're making lasagna, you could use those whole sheets, put them right in the pan and layer them up. It'd work perfect that way too. Okay, once you get it all cut, kind of fluff it a little to loosen it all up. Lay it out on that cookie sheet. And we're going to use the same cookie sheet for all three of those small quarters, all four of those small quarters. We skipped ahead here and we did the next couple. And there you go. That is fresh pasta made at home. You can keep this in the fridge for up to 3 days if you don't want to use it right away, or this is ready to go right now. Ooh, perfect texture. Nice.